I shall only accept one fate of Evil-Lyn. She's had many beginnings, including an unwritten one, including a connection to Queen Marlena, going on the same space shuttle with Triclops and Beastman. But it doesn't matter which version of Evil-Lyn we're looking at. She wants power. She goes for power. But it still doesn't answer, why does she do what she do? Why does she do the things she does? In this incarnation, whether it's the comic books or the cartoon of 2000X, she always tries to undermine Skeletor, because she can do that, right? She manipulates men, Eternia's finest guards. In this cartoon, she tried to get her father, we presumed this to be her father, Hordak. All the scheming led to Hordak. I mean, here we have Lyn Powers. We can go back a moment. This is what she wanted. Evil-Lyn did all she wanted just so she could get closer to her father, who we presume to be Hordak. You can see the bat symbols here. Especially in the 83 Filmation cartoon, she would go through many disguises. But what is her fate? What does she do all this for? She just wants more power. But what is rule like? I mean, obviously she wants to be the fucking queen of something, right? But what does that even fucking mean? So if you go as far back as the Marvel Star Motu Comics, so this is 30 years later, right? This is the 30 years into the future storyline. And during these years without He-Man, Evil-Lyn stood by Skeletor's side as he ruled Eternia from Castle Grayskull. At some point, she began wearing a hooded cape. She enjoyed a position of power, but she was still second in command. She's kind of doing the same thing she did now, right? At that point, she rules over Castle Grayskull instead of Snake Mountain. But she's undermining Skeletor with Hordak, and that happens in the 2021 cartoon, and that happens in the 2002 cartoon. So what does she really fucking want? In the 2008 classics, the mini comics would show that she had a son, Skeletine. So Skeletine, so she would help fight against He-Man's son. So she became a mom because she and Keldor had a son. So Skeletine was her son. That there is Skeletine. When I think about who her father was, you have to remember the faceless one is Evil-Lyn's father. And he was a ruler of Zalasia until he became like a ghost, a phantom, who we could assume had great cosmic powers. But the only fate I'll accept for Evil-Lyn, and we're not going to count the multiverse because she was like Keldor's lover. They were the good guys, and you had anti-He-Man. We're not going to count that one. We're going to look at this book. This was the Eternity War. And actually, since that image is in here, this is the only fate I'll accept for Evil-Lyn. Because if she killed Skeletor or she overpowered Skeletor, what does she become? Who is she? And there she is right there. This is the Sorceress of Horikoth. This is in the Eternity War. Now I'm going to read this to you while you can stare at this picture. The 2012 comics portrayed Evil-Lyn as a seductive and brilliant witch. She was not above using psychic pleasures to manipulate or physical pleasures to manipulate her victims. She stood on whichever side benefited her the most. Patient and capable of pulling off elaborate schemes, she succeeded in making her way to the Forge of Grayskull, which is under the control of Hordak at the time, and managed to transform herself into the new Sorceress of Horikoth. In this form, attired in a more horde-like red outfit with a batwing cape, she battled Teela in her Serpos form, and later on she took Skeletor's dead body back to Anwar Gar and resurrected him in the blood pool of his mother, Saren the Witch. So, this is her goal. I mean, much like Teela Na, who became the Sorceress of Zor, and Teela became the Sorceress of Serpos. Of course, Man-at-Arms gave his life to make sure she became back as a human. This was her goal, I think, and I accept this more than just flipping off Skeletor or being by his side in Castle Grayskull. What does Evil-Lyn want for Evil-Lyn? And no, I'm not going to accept that she was a cosmic enforcer just like Zodak. Fuck that.